Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop, and today we're going to be doing a Does It Still Basketball with the Jordan 3. So yes, I do know this is a hoop shoe and I do know Michael Jordan did play in it, so obviously if Michael Jordan played in it, it should basketball. That is true. There's a lot of shoes that you can still hoop in, but the main point of this is that, is it good comparing it to like modern shoes? That's kind of like what I want to see. I mean, this shoe came out in 1988, guys. So it's been like, what, almost like 35 years. So it's a very, very old shoe. It came out before I was born, which is, I'm getting old, you know what I mean? I'm getting up there. So this shoe is older than me, I guess, you know what I mean? Technology has changed over time as far as foam goes, like cushion, material technology has changed as well. So yes, of course, I mean, they used to, like a long time ago, they used to play in chucks. And why would you play in chucks? That's terrible, you know what I mean? So I just wanted to do it for fun and see if it's still like a hoopable shoe. I mean, obviously you can still hoop in it, like I said, but is it good? So anyways, if you guys do want to cop, I'll try to leave in the free link in the description box. You can get it on Goat, StockX, eBay or whatever. And this is the free throw line colorway. You can see the free throw line here. This is a translucent outsole. So I guess let's start off with the Tracciones, and I played in a couple Jordan 3s and they're so freaking bad. The traction is so bad. Just never get a good stop. And no matter how much I try to play in these and like break it in, just never has a good stop. I don't know how Jordan played in these, honestly. And also, I don't know how it got so bad compared to the Jordan 1. Because the Jordan 1, I have it right here, has really, really good traction, right? And the outsole pattern is still like weird. You know what I mean? So the whatever rubber compound they're using here in the Jordan 3 is not it. It has a terrible, terrible bite and just sliding around everywhere, right? So if you're playing on a clean court, terrible. I guess it's if you're playing on an immaculate court, you should be okay. But if you're playing on a like dirty court at all, you're gonna be sliding around all over the place, and you're gonna be very, very frustrated, just like me, because I was sliding around all over the damn place, And as far as the durability goes, I feel like durability will be good, just because the rubber is really, the grooves are super thick, and the rubber is very, very hard, right? Of course, we have like the star pattern here in the forefoot as well, and here in the heel. Yeah, durability I feel like should be okay. I don't know why you would play in these on outdoor court, but it seems like it'll be good. So traction, absolutely, absolutely horrendous. And now moving on to the heel to toe transition, it was all right. So compared to the Jordan 1, it is a little bit smoother, but it's still a little clunky here in the heel just because it has a very edged out shape. But they're using foam. I believe this is just like a polyurethane foam, so it's like still terrible, but there's a little bit of compression here in the heel, so it's not as bad as the Jordan 1, but it's still not really, really smooth, right? Look at that. Still kind of clunky. And then here in the forefoot, we have a nice rounded shape and a good amount of forefoot flex, right? So I believe because of this air unit, we have like good torsion support, just because air units are like in old school shoes. Like this air unit with the bubble, it stiffens up the sole. So it does have good torsion support. It doesn't bend at all here in the midfoot like the Jordan 1 did. So torsion support is good, but overall heel to toe transition, not the best. It's still a little clunky, but it's better than like the Jordan 1, Now moving on to the cushioning setup. Cushioning setup is still bad. I mean, I was playing the Jordan 1 with the Jordan 3, and it's better cushion, but anything is better than rubber. You know what I mean? The Jordan 1 had rubber and it was terrible. It hurt my feet like crazy. It was basically like playing in barefoot. You know what I mean? Playing barefoot. And the Jordan 3 is a step above that, but then like, it's still not a great cushioning setup. Like this air unit, the bubble, it doesn't do anything really at all. It's just, I guess, like for aesthetics, you know what I mean? Just because it doesn't really, it doesn't compress, and you wouldn't even want the shoe to compress here because that's like on the lateral side and it would be unstable. But either way, it doesn't really do anything. Doesn't do anything for step and comfort or underfoot cushioning either. But I guess there is a little bit of compression here in the heel, so I guess that's kind of nice, kind of. Court feels still pretty damn good, especially here in the forefoot. The heel gets a little bit higher up off the ground, so there definitely is an offset, especially comparing to the Jordan 1s. Impact protection on heel strikes is not bad. It's still not great. If you're doing hard impacts in the forefoot, not great. Yeah, cushion also still not very good. I guess the only good thing is that like it's responsive and I guess good court feel, but impact protection not good. Not a whole lot of compression. It's not soft. It's not comfortable. The insole is all right. It's just a regular ortholine insole, and underneath that we have a very stiff strobo boards. So cushion also is very lackluster. And now moving on to the materials. So old school materials. I'm not a huge fan of old school materials. Just in my personal opinion, I prefer to play in like mesh, knits, textiles, you know what I mean, jacquard, just because I like to have a more minimal material, you know what I mean. And leather is usually a lot thicker, a lot chunkier than those like modern materials. So honestly though, once you break it in, it does get soft and it gets good in performance. You know, it conforms your foot very well once you break it in two. But when you first get it, you know, it is definitely a little bit stiff, right? But here in this colorway, in my pair, the quality of the leather is actually not that bad. So there's the materials there, and then here in the midfoot, it also stays pretty stiff, right? And then for the tongue, we actually have like a good amount of padding. I would say a little bit more than average. And then here in the ankle area, I would say it's like an average amount of padding. So honestly, it's not terrible, and you can definitely make it work, which I made it work. But comparing it to modern shoes with thinner materials with like just as good support, obviously I would pick that over leather, you know. But of course, I do know some people that do like the feel of old school materials, which is also chill. And now moving on to the fit. The fit is actually really bad for me, right? I don't know what they did from the Jordan 1 to the Jordan 3, but the fit is a lot roomier and also a lot wider, you know what I mean? So I went true to size. Lengthwise, you should be good to go, but it's so damn roomy here in the toe box, right? I could curl my toes up pretty much fully, and also widthwise, it is a lot wider, you know what I mean? So when I was also playing in the shoe, my foot would move around inside of the shoe a lot, and if you look at the laces, you can't really tighten up the laces that much either, just because I mean, I have it cranked down all the way, you know what I mean? But even still, it's a roomy fit, and it didn't really help that much with lockdown. So for me, not great. If you have a wide foot or you like to have a roomier fit in your shoes, then obviously that's really good for you. But if you like to have a snug fit, then this is a really bad fit. Now moving on to the support and lockdown, overall it's really good. You know, old school materials really have no issues or no problems with lateral containment. As you guys can see, we can, well, I mean, leather overall is super supportive, but we do have like two overlays, right? These two materials going over this leather material. So here in the forefoot, you're good to go. And here in the heel, we have an internal TPU heel counter, it feels like. So lateral containment, I was good to go. And also lateral stability, even though there's no outrigger, it is a low base. It's super low to the ground here in the forefoot. And it's, like I said, it's a wide fit. So lateral stability was also very good for me. This is like it's not a high top, it's like a mid top shoe. It does restrict ankle movement just a tiny bit. You get a little some, you know what I mean? But it doesn't really restrict ankle movement as much as a Jordan 1. So if you like a lot of that, if you like a lot of ankle support, then obviously this isn't the best option, but I would rather play in lows, you know what I mean? And now moving on to the weight of the shoe, it's probably gonna be super heavy. I'm guessing like 15 ounces or something like that. Yeah, 15.8 ounces, guys. Let's check the others, that's crazy. 15.87 ounces. So yeah, super freaking heavy shoe, super chonky, super clunky, and yeah, not responsive at all. The traction was terrible. Also, the roomier fit in the toe box for me personally, my foot was moving around inside of the shoe. So when I was playing in these, I felt super slow, which I don't like just because I'm smaller. I'm a smaller guy, so I rely on my speed a good amount. So if I can't feel quick, then this is not a great hoop shoe for me, you know what I mean? So there's that. Moving on to ventilation, no. There's not even ventilation holes. I guess there's holes here, but yeah, it's not really going through the entire tongue. You know, there is padding between that. So ventilation, terrible. Leather is thick, so it also keeps in moisture and heat. Ventilation is terrible in the Jordan 3. And now moving on to the aesthetics, I like it. It's definitely up there as far as aesthetics go. Silhouette, it's legendary, it's iconic. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, yeah, this is one of the older Jordan shoes that I really don't like the ball in. And the Jordan 1 I can get by for like one game, and then my feet start to explode and die just because the cushion is so bad. But I can make it work, you know what I mean? But the Jordan 3, I hate playing in these, guys. It's really bad. Like I said, traction's terrible, cushion's terrible, fit's terrible. It's not responsive, it's heavy, it's clunky, it's chonky, and it's hot, you know what I mean? So, I mean, you can definitely make it work. I mean, you can hoop in these. Probably not gonna have the best time, especially comparing it to modern shoes, even like terrible modern shoes. I would rather play in the Harden Volume 5 than the Jordan 3, you know what I mean? So you can definitely hoop in them, but you're not gonna have a great time. I didn't have a good time, so I don't know who would have a good time playing Jordan 3s. I've seen a couple people playing. I'm like, why are you playing in those, dude? You know what I mean? Like the Jordan 11 13 and 14 are really nice to play in, just like old school, but that's like almost 10 years later, you know what I mean? Jordan 1, like I said, is alright. Jordan 3, and like all the other Jordans, like the 4, 5, 6, 7, I've played in all of them. It's kind of like the same exact feel as the Jordan 3. So I really don't know how Michael Jordan played in these, which is kind of crazy, but comparing to modern basketball shoes, it's not nice. And just in my personal opinion. And also, I do like how the tech has evolved and changed for the better. Although I guess the quality of the materials could be better for modern basketball shoes, especially the Jordan like signature shoe line. But anyways, that about wraps up this video. If you've played in the Jordan 3s, tell us your experience down in the comment section below. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.